safety of 1.2 individual visitors. Those folks that come in and out of the building, visits in 2014 without a significant safety incident within the Union County Courthouse complex and the facilities that we are responsible for. I think that's significant, and I'd like to say thank you to all of you for those investments in training. What does it mean? It means things like this. Here's a belt that we confiscated last year that, if you look, it pulls out to a knife. I think I saw Hudak wearing this thing Saturday. Other things like, as one would realize, this is actually a cigarette lighter. Again, visually you can see the type of things that happen. Here is also another cigarette lighter when one reverses it. And there are a number of different ways that one can carry a knife. When we look at, for those of us with a little bit of hair left, you might actually take this and do this, but if you do that, you actually have a weapon. We went with the traveling visual today as opposed to in the building, but there are many, many others. We confiscated hundreds of weapons last year, and I thank you all for the opportunity. And if you wonder about your dollars, the way we measure our days is this. Folks who come to our complex, who leave safe, is a good day. Our officers returning home to their families each day is a good day. We all together, along with your investments, allowed that to be possible for all our citizens in 2014. We thank you for that. Along with some good news in terms of safety, there is some bad news as well. Good and bad news. The Union County Sheriff's Office produced revenues of $1.7 million last year to the county, much of that in the foreclosure area, which is obviously a disheartening portion for our family, for our Union County citizens and residents. Last year, in our foreclosure area, in our business office, we entered 1,088 individual foreclosures. We sold 717 properties. We put another 41 properties in bankruptcy, canceled 202 with foreclosure remediation. I'd like to tell you that the news so far, and I know Friel Granados has expressed a particular interest in this, is better in 2015. However, 337 properties already year to date in Union County have been entered into foreclosure in 2015. So we continue to work with the innovative programs I know you all have been part of, from the Foreclosure Task Force and others, as we look for ways to protect our citizens from the nightmare that is foreclosures. We've added your investments in our crime scene unit have to, and I want to particularly note one in particular, the Garzone killing, which happened last February, which was a tragedy where the body was located in Chatham. We'd like to think, and without sounding too self-gratuitous here, as a result of your investments in training and our investments in support, allowed for our crime scene unit to have an opportunity to identify and lead to the actual kill of that crime. That's happened time and time again over the years in partnership with the county police, in partnership with the prosecutor's office. And I think it's a record of safety that we have something to be proud of here, and I think we all ought to take a moment and realize the benefits of what we look at today financially are benefits that are real meaning to the safety of our citizens. With that in mind, I'll flip through the budget, I guess, and show you what our goals are, or the dollars, and quite sure the format here. Our budget adopted, we just go right to Friel. If you want to look at this, I can answer any questions you have. I'll take you through it. As you can see, our salaries are scoring, the underwriting in our salary line. Our budget request is representative of the investments that you made last year for 10 for our new family courthouse, and the additional investment, which I'm proud to represent to you now, of the community policing unit in partnership with the City of Elizabeth, where we have had the opportunity. We are now going through the interview process for our officers. We've worked consistently with the City of Elizabeth. Remember what we're doing here. I know you've all been enthusiastic and inquiring about this. We are training with the City of Elizabeth first with a series of 6 officers, then again with a series of 5, in partnership to train folks in the street crimes, the opportunity to become more detective level, and an opportunity that allows those folks, those officers, to be partners in communities when needed, and define tasks and define roles, so that we can support when the community has a particular need. We can send out officers that are trained for that opportunity. We've had interest already among the chiefs of police, and we look forward to the results, which we anticipate being able to show before September. So I thank you all for those investments. I think they're there. The only open-ended item in there would be a matter of security guards, which we are analyzing for a fiscal analysis as to what works best. I think that encompasses a little more than $200,000. May I answer any of the questions you have there? If not, I'd like to move to the accomplishments. I don't want to rush the committee in terms of
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one question for the sheriff. So, community policing, I think, has a lot of interest to the towns, on the Freeholder Board, and for the towns, and obviously for the sheriff's office too. And is your strategy to move existing officers into that community policing unit and then backfill them with officers through the academy?
We have, due to turnover, due to retirements, and due to your investments, we have 21 in the academy this time. This go around, we did 17 in the next. So we'll be backfilling from there. We're ready to go, so to speak, with the first 6. Now we have them identified, we work through the process. Those officers that we've identified are now going through an interview process to make sure that they understand the roles that are required, and analyze their training, and make sure that they're sensitive to the community needs and understand that this is a 2-year commitment from them in terms of investment in their life. These guys understand that Saturday is no longer their spouses, it's the needs of the job, regardless of anything. So we're going through that process now. With the training involved, we certainly hope any community in Union County would have that opportunity for those resources, up to 5 or more if needed, certainly by September.
Yeah, I was hoping that it wasn't going to wait until they went through the academy and started that way.
It's not our intention, and these will, by the way, the first wave of officers will not be officers that are coming out of the academy in the current class. There'll be officers currently who have expressed their interest, a background, an FC, many of them military, to be perfectly candid. Some of them fit different criteria. Obviously, in our partnership with the city, we certainly love folks that are bilingual, that represent more of a diversity with the community, and we're certainly going to be reflective of that as well.
I know that the towns are very interested in this. I know one town in particular will be very interested in this as well moving forward. So looking forward to that program, Sheriff, and under your leadership, I'm sure it'll be very successful.
Look forward to the phone call.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Any other questions?
Heard one thing you said, Sheriff, in reference to hiring military personnel, and I just wanted to expand on that a little bit. I know currently most of the police officers, sheriff officers, are being hired are veterans, correct?
That's correct, and it's the new list that's been out. You have seen a particular, we're hiring strictly vets now. We certify 100, and everybody that's in this class, I think almost everybody that's in this class is a vet.
That's great.
Not significant. And they make great officers, let's be honest.
Fairly Carter.
I think some of the initiatives that you have going on are really something that you seem to put a lot of thought through you and the entire sheriff's team for some of the needs that we need out there in our community. Can you just go over, when I'm looking at your salaries and overtime, and it's not a huge uptick, which I can appreciate, but there is an uptick. So explain, how we can really kind of control the overtime a little bit by what you're doing with the salaries. Also, give me just a little bit better explanation of the seasonal, because we're going up just a little bit in the seasonal area. What's the purpose?
Seasonal is going in Berk's order, Freeholder, if I may. The seasonal was a line item request for potential salary bump for a seasonal span of 7 years, or it hasn't seen a raise in 7 years. So it's proactive, but frankly, I think in our discussions, we thought that maybe we could so you can take that line item out if you choose to, save $8 grand in that conversation, so that's good. In terms of overtime, our tip was up a little bit, but our actuals obviously are significantly less than budget, and we're asking for a flat budget, regardless of the fact that our officers have received their 2% raise as well. So I'm sure you've all heard this argument 1,000 times. If they're getting a raise, we're actually doing less. We're cheap. Okay, so, and we don't like to spend overtime. We meet every 2 weeks with our unit commanders. As you know, and looking at our initiatives, we put in an automated time and attendance system so that we continue to look for innovative ways to reduce OT. In that line, I've held the line at the same flat number because what we try to do is use a rolling 5-year average in terms of what we do, and our rolling 5-year average is actually under the 620 figure. But you never know. I mean, I got to be real with you, so you never know. What you try to do is just never spend. And we've created, I think, a culture of efficiency in the office where people understand unit commanders, whether it's in the level of approval, the definition of proactive approvals for overtime, as well as a reactive explanation as to why it was done. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank, in particular, the assignment judge and others who've worked with us in efforts to reduce OT. Probably the most frustrating area is transportation. After the traffic we didn't like today with the rain,
I'll be blunt, some of my guys are late coming back from Burlington County with the transport. And those are frustrating things as well.
Well, I can say this, I appreciate you really looking at efficiencies and truly as being more proactive. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Carter. Any other questions for the sheriff? Sheriff, feel free to proceed.
Thank you. Our 2014 accomplishments, we're proud of as an organization. We're there for you as you take a look at them, and I know they're up on there as well. I particularly want to mention the gun buybacks where we collected, and I know others have expressed an interest in that. I want to thank the partnership. I know Andy Moran's behind me in the prosecutor's office as well. Together, we worked well and created a gun buyback situation that took over 1,000 weapons off the street in 2013, and another 480 in October of 2014. We think gun buyback, I can't speak for Andy, but I think it's safe to say we think gun buyback programs work. And we know that that's a weapon, that, whether it's not a fake one, but a real weapon that means that somebody is safe. And that's important to us. I mentioned to you the foreclosure sales. Our revenue tick, as much as I dislike what these mean, we put the sales online. In other words, the listing of the sales is actually on our website. It has generated, we normally would get very few in attendance at foreclosure sales. It has generated more of an interest. As a result of that, and again, no one likes the reasoning for it, but the revenue to the county has increased as a result because it's created more of an awareness. Our security cameras are upgraded, and they'll continue to be upgraded this year thanks to your investment in that. Matter of fact, hard wiring in terms of cameras for the administration building and then pieces of the annex will commence actually next week in terms of timing. On the prisoner movements I mentioned to you, the gun buyback programs I mentioned to you, and I'm particularly pleased in 2014 it was an accomplishment to begin. In 2015 it's actually there. We've automated our payroll process. We're just about to, and our time and attendance process, it's about time. We came out of the dark ages, so I'm particularly pleased about that. And my last comment stands for itself. And while we continue all of what we did in 2014 pales as an agency in comparison to the loss that we experienced in July 20th when we lost Sheriff Rowland. And we thank everyone for their support. We'll be remiss when we look at 2014 as a milestone year for our office and its history. In 2015, I continue to look for, and Freeholder Carter mentioned how can you look for innovative ways to reduce costs. One of them is we have outside units, our transportation unit, our warrant officers. We've put them under one commander in the past month. And the reason for that is simple. It sounds like, well, duh. But the reality is that we had them separate for a while as a result of this, and we've been able to incorporate teams together and therefore save some costs and overlapping efficiencies. Things like imagine if a team had to go, team gets a call at 2 o'clock to go to Essex, the other team gets a call at 3. We've been able to coordinate that a little bit better. That's saved us some dollars. And when you look at it day to day, we think it can help significantly. Those sort of things that we want to create is a synergy and efficiency. Our BCI and ID units were combined for the longest period of time. This is the crime scene unit that I mentioned with Carzone and the others. Our ID units where we process prisoners each and every day in the bottom of the annex, which I'm sure you're all aware of. Our community policing unit we discussed. My final thing for you tonight, and certainly with questions or just a couple, is I probably should be embarrassed to say this. We had guys, we had an officer who was doing our Jobs in Blue program and actually doing the administration of it. Okay, and it took, after we analyzed each and every, which is something we did post-July, we analyzed each and every officer's function. You all didn't make investments for officers to be clever. And we have absolutely, not that there was a lot of it, but wherever it was, we've made that change, or we're just about to finish that change. I don't feel it's reasonable to come to you unless our house is completely. And it's just a matter of old habits changing under a different time, and that's what we're focused on. I'm very comfortable in saying that no officer will be doing clerical functions by the end of this month completely. I think that's a pretty important thing to say overall. I think it's been a culture change, shall we say. Finally, I guess the last two things. We did implement a wellness program, which has gone pretty well. We've got over 50 folks working out each and every day, which I think is important. My canine guy who's next to me lost 30 pounds in the last month working out, so good for him. As we try to create a culture of fitness, because we think that's important as part of our culture in the sheriff's office to be proactive and be ready. And finally, I know some of you have expressed an interest in this as well. I gotta find a smoking cessation program that works. So one of our articles, and we thank you very much. I know County Manager Faye implemented and emphasized, I think, along with the finance officer as well, on the health and wellness and the opportunity for Horizon to be a partner for smoking cessation. We're focused on that as well as we continue to try to get efficiencies from the employees we have. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Sheriff, Freeholders, any questions on the sheriff's initiatives for 2015 or any additional budget questions? Freeholder, Vice Chairman Burke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take the opportunity to say, as I have before, what a great job your office does as an attorney practicing in this county. I interact with them on a regular basis, and they're just top-notch. Certainly, in my experience, the best department in the state of New Jersey. So we appreciate everything you're doing. If you can just explain one item to me.
Sure.
And I think it's great that you're coming to the modern era with timekeeping and scheduling. Just tell me what unit manpower scheduling means.
Sure. I'll just say, in the previous time, all our vacation schedules would go to one person for the entire department. So in other words, if you were the unit commander for our crime scene unit, the vacation schedules were done all through our personnel department. If you think about it, that's crazy. All right, so what we did is we changed it, and basically the culture that we're trying to change is that unit commanders are responsible for their units, as opposed to the direction flows, information flows up and direction flows down. I'm trying very much to empower our unit commanders in the next level below with additional training and investments to make decisions where they need to be made as opposed to at a higher level. I think that's what their career should be about.
Thank you.
Freeholders, any additional questions for the sheriff? Well, Sheriff Bryan, thank you very much. I just a couple of notes for me. One, in terms of the community policing unit, I think that is outstanding as well, and we're enthusiastically supporting it. And I also, just from an idea of retention of officers, because we do invest a good amount of money to bring an officer into the sheriff's service, and many times they leave. So you get a little more police work, and that's a very good thing. Always good to see officers not at desks, and I know that's an issue in all departments, trying to get those uniformed officers out and supporting the primary mission of the agency, and that's a great thing. So we will be in touch with you in terms of a couple of those other items that I know you addressed in the budget in terms of the overtime and security aspect. So we appreciate you coming in tonight, and we look forward to working with you in 2015.
As always, thank you for your partnership. It's appreciated by every member of our agency. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You don't need a night around.
Yeah, seriously.